Before weather forecasts, a farmer could wake up, step outside, and find the field glittering white. Frost. Yesterday, the sky looked harmless. The seeds were already in the ground. The family's food for the year was sitting in the soil, and by sunrise, part of it might already be dead. No alert, no map, no warning on a screen. Just a person staring at the sky, realizing tomorrow had arrived before anyone could prepare for it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the weather forecast is not just about umbrellas. It changed food, travel, work, survival, and the way humans think about the future. Because for most of history, tomorrow's weather was invisible. Imagine living as someone whose whole day depends on guessing the sky correctly. Call him Thomas. Thomas has a small field, a leaking roof, one set of dry clothes, and a road to market that turns into mud when rain comes. If he plants too early, frost can kill the crop. If he waits too long, the season can slip away. If he travels on the wrong morning, he may not get home before dark. He does not check a forecast. He checks the air. A cold dawn might mean frost. A still, heavy afternoon might mean thunder. A red sunset might be a clue, but never a promise. Clouds matter, wind matters, the smell of the ground matters. And every guess has a cost. A farmer could lose seed. A traveler could get trapped. A sailor could leave harbor under a calm sky and meet a storm no one on land had seen coming. Weather was not background noise. Weather was the boss. People were not helpless, and they were not stupid. They built a forecasting system out of memory. Thomas watches birds fly low before rain. He notices cattle lying down before a storm. Smoke sinking instead of rising. A strange ache in old joints. A wind from one direction that usually brings wet weather, and a wind from another that usually clears the sky. A village might know its valley. A fisher might know one coast. A shepherd might know one mountain pass. This knowledge could be incredibly useful. But it had one terrifying weakness. It could only see what was nearby. Here is the problem. The sky above Thomas might look calm, while danger is already moving toward him from far away. A storm can form hundreds of miles away. A cold front can slide across a region in the night. A ship can sail out under clear skies while pressure is falling somewhere no one aboard can measure. Local wisdom could read signs. It could not connect distant places. That is why the first real forecast was not born from comfort. It was born from disaster. In 1854, during the Crimean War, a violent storm smashed through the Black Sea and wrecked ships supplying the French and British forces. Men died. Supplies were lost. And afterward, scientists realized something disturbing. The storm had crossed Europe before it hit. If weather observations from different places had been gathered quickly enough, the danger might have been seen before it arrived. The issue was no longer just, will it rain tomorrow? It was, can a warning outrun the storm? The first step was turning sky feelings into numbers. Barometers measured air pressure. Thermometers measured temperature. Rain gauges measured rainfall. Wind instruments recorded direction and speed. Now Thomas's world could be measured, instead of only remembered. But measurements alone were not enough. A barometer in one town tells you what is happening there. A thermometer in one harbor tells you one tiny piece of the sky. The breakthrough was the invention that made weather warnings faster than weather itself. The telegraph. By the mid-1800s, observations from distant towns could move across wires almost instantly. For the first time, people could gather scattered weather clues into one picture. Pressure falling here, wind shifting there, rain reported over there. Suddenly, a storm was not just something that arrived. It was something that could be tracked. Weather forecasting was not one magic invention. It was a chain. Observers measured the air at set times. Telegraph clerks sent the numbers. Offices drew weather maps. Newspapers printed predictions. Harbors raised flags and signals when sailors needed to stay ashore. That chain was fragile at first. It needed trust, standards, instruments, workers, and governments willing to pay for warnings before disaster happened. Then the chain got faster. Radio brought forecasts into homes. Radar showed storms forming in real time. Satellites lifted human eyes above Earth so clouds could be watched from space. Computers began calculating the movement of air at a scale no person could hold in their head. The old world saw weather from underneath. The modern world began watching it from above. Once forecasts entered ordinary life, tomorrow changed. Thomas's great-grandchildren could delay planting before frost. A school could close before snow trapped children on roads. A city could send out salt trucks before ice formed. A family could choose coats, cancel travel, cover crops, move animals, or bring boats back before the sky turned violent. Forecasts did not make weather harmless. They made danger earlier. That was the revolution. The storm still came, the heat still came, the frost still came, but now sometimes the warning came first. For the first time, ordinary people could live with a borrowed piece of the future. Not certainty. Enough to act. Today, you glance at a phone and see temperature, rain chance, wind speed, radar, sunrise, pollen, lightning alerts, hurricane tracks, and warnings for places you have never visited. It feels like convenience, but it is really a survival machine. That little screen hides farmers losing crops to frost, sailors disappearing in sudden storms, families guessing wrong, soldiers losing supplies, telegraph clerks racing the weather, radar beams scanning rain, satellites circling above you, and computers modeling invisible rivers of air. For most of history, tomorrow did not appear in your pocket. You had to negotiate with the sky. And sometimes, the sky did not answer until it was too late.